Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Schmidt, and I'm struggling against chronic kidney destruction. I'll leave a link to my GoFundMe down below or on the side, however your menu is displayed. I just wanted to mention I keep seeing a lot on Facebook ads in the comments. People will very understandably, they're frustrated with the state of our healthcare system in the United States, and they'll say that that's only for the rich people, and they'll say right now it appears only rich people can afford this, but that's really due to special interests. And you can advocate for change. You can be your own advocate. And you can advocate for others who they don't have the strength or the will to advocate for themselves and for others like you do. If you see that and you think it's unfair like I do, I just want you to know that anyone can advocate for stem cells and for genetic research. It is the future, whether anyone wants to believe that or not. You do not need to belong to a club or have a license or any kind of special training to be a public servant, also known as a politician. We tend to elevate them in the public mind like it's the Roman Empire or something. Oh, he's a senator or she's a representative. They're just public servants, actually. They work for you. And so you can also be that. And if you don't have the wherewithal to run directly, you can still tell them as a U.S. citizen what to do. They work for you. So you can be an advocate both in your district and outside. If everyone like you and I demands change, it must become, or there is the risk of making representative government into a sham. People will start to think that they don't actually represent us, and that's the whole point of this country and the way it was founded. The excuse, the reason behind it was that, well, we weren't being represented. So when enough people advocate to their politics what to do, they have to listen to you. So if you feel it's unfair, then write to your representative. I'm going to start doing that every day. I'm going to just type it up, save it in a note card in my computer, paste it into an email, and just start sending it out. And that's how it's done. So if they don't want anyone to think that this representative government is not a representative government, they have to take heed, especially if enough people started to say our healthcare system is a joke. It's a terrible crime that nations that we are told are third world countries have better health systems than we do. So demand safe and immediate access, and boycott American and European pharmaceutical corporations. And that is kind of scary, because you don't want your pharmaceuticals from some certain nations, and you don't have to stop taking your medication, but you can write them and you can tell them, look, you can shame them, I guess I should say, not boycott, shame them. You have a much better way of doing things available to you. You could be making money on, and just do that. I'm not going to claim to be a doctor or a scientist, because I am not. I cannot tell you if you should or should not take your medications. I believe that you should do what your doctor tells you to do. That's what I'm doing. My doctor tells me which medicines to take. I just got done taking a medication today, and it's just what you got to do for in the meantime, okay? But what I mean by boycott is, I guess I should say shame. Publicly shame them for being greedy, for not being against public good. And scientists and biologists are now creating synthetic biology. And this sounds scary at first, but if you really break down what they're saying, soon you will not need to wait for someone to donate stem cells. They're going to start creating, using the human DNA blueprint, they're going to start having it's like generic parts, And so this is good news. Maybe recommend to your pharmacy in your nation, hey, why aren't you working on this? Why aren't you endorsing this? Why aren't you investing? You could make a lot of money. And it's actually about maintenance. Everyone has a car. They're constantly getting oil changes. They're constantly getting parts changed. Just because you can't make $800 on one pill doesn't mean you can't make $800 doing something else that's equally easy to do once you scale it up. So what is synthetic biology? Assembling from scratch using our DNA as a blueprint. So we do not run into scarcity, and it becomes available to everyone. There's also less chance of rejection or immune issues. So if you accept donated stem cells, I understand that probably there's some back channel gifting to the mother who donates. But I believe this is something that we as a society should look into as well. Maybe the government wants to get involved because, they could make money doing this. But if you accept donated stem cells, why not offer the mother even $100 or a $500 or $1,000 life insurance policy for their child, a life insurance policy that they could borrow against when they're 18 for either school, investing in their own business, or starting a family of their own. And that would be a great way, I think, to celebrate the life and the donation, so that it doesn't become this so that it's a celebration. And you're actually transfusing donated stem cells. You're not stealing. I'm sure the mothers are compensated once their child is born. But this would be an extra thank you, because without those stem cells, without that Wharton's jelly, or however it's pronounced, you could, with that gift, you're given a fighting chance. So that would be an extra way to not just say thank you to the mother, but also the child, and recognize their contribution to life, not just your life, and you can contribute to their life. So that's all I had for right now. Just something that I noticed, people, they're complaining a lot online, which it's so obviously rigged. Our healthcare system, I'm watching commercials from the 50s and 60s. They wanted us all on junk food a long time ago. They're trying to kill us. And I don't care how conspiratorial and how theorists that sounds. It's a fact. They want you on pills so they can make money, cradle to the grave. And so you need to start doing healthy things as well. Do what your doctor tells you to do. I had to do that. I'm still doing it. And but until the system changes, which you can advocate for, we have to do what we're told, okay? And but also you can take care of your body. I was told by nurses and doctors for a year I couldn't take vitamins that I could not, certain foods I could not eat because they were still stuck on previous medications. They didn't even know what they were prescribing to me. They were talking about warfarin. I was on Eliquis, and they said, well, you know, you don't have to avoid ginger and spinach, and you don't have to skip the vitamins. You actually should take your vitamins. And well, how come this doctor or this nurse said that? Well, that was because, you know, back in the day, you know, 20 years, 30 years ago. So stay current. They're going to get mad at you for doing that. They're going to get mad at you for reading. But there's nothing wrong with educating yourself. There are all kinds of really interesting articles submitted by doctors and scientists on the National Institute of Health website. I believe that's what it's called, the NIH.gov. You can read all kinds of really interesting stuff on there. And there's nothing wrong with questioning your doctor. But in the meantime, you should do it, you know, what you're told, and also work with the doctor to get better. Eat healthy. Exercise. Drink a lot of water. That's another thing they told me, stop drinking water. For like a month, I was drinking like 300 milliliters a day. That decimated my kidney. Between that and the medications I was on, 4 water pills and 3 blood thinners, dude. And it almost killed me. I just wanted to say this is something that I'm getting into. I read an article about dark chocolate. I'm not getting paid to promote this brand. This is the brand that I get a lot at Walmart. This is the brand that I see a lot at Aldi's. I always try to get at least 90% cocoa. Aldi's keeps running out. But they're finding out that consuming dark chocolate stimulates your natural stem cells. They don't know why exactly, but it does. There's also a guy on YouTube. If someone wants to tag his video in the comments of this post, he said the same thing. Dark chocolate, your stem cells come swarming out of your bones, were his exact words. But you want to be careful because it does have a lot of fat, saturated fat. So if you're on a statin, you're probably going to want to keep up on that. So just be careful in moderation. I'm sure just a little piece a day of dark chocolate is what I'm doing. I'm not your doctor. You need to talk to your doctor about what to do. But this is research that they're doing right now. Dark chocolate will stimulate your blood cells. Or not your blood cells, but your stem cells. Your own natural stem cells. Just be aware of the saturated fat. He also said that coffee, dark coffee, and green tea also stimulate your stem cells. But then again, once more, if you're a heart patient, you don't want a ton of caffeine in your system. But there are things that you can research how to stimulate your own stem cells. There is an oil. Apparently Alexander the Great researched a long time ago. I guess he noticed his horses, when they fed on certain berries, they would heal faster. And come to find out, now they're discovering they're loaded with the content stimulates your blood cells, or your stem cells, excuse me. So those are just a few thoughts that I had today. And thank you for your support. Thank you for listening and watching. And I appreciate all shares. And again, thank you for your time.